related industries that continue our city's tradition of design excellence. While we cannot be together in person due to health precautions, we have crafted what we hope will be a special experience. Our team has been hand delivering gift packages to our honorees and working with the Texas Society of Architects to make this event special. A big thank you to the AIA Dallas team for their dedication and always thinking about ways to make these virtual events fun. So we can just cheer them for a minute.
Yay. Woohoo, well done.
Yeah, thanks. We have an action-packed evening planned for you, as you can see from the program. This is a Zoom meeting, and we'd love to see your faces. Like I said, we encourage you to cheer on our award winners, but ask that you please remain muted during remarks. Please be aware of your microphone throughout the event. As we recognize these remarkable individuals, organizations, and projects, feel free to follow along with your program document, where you'll find descriptions of the awards and recipients. And we also encourage you to share. You can use the Zoom reactions, and you can visit throughout the evening using the Zoom chat feature. So let's get started. We begin with recognizing and thanking those who have made tonight's celebration possible, our sponsors and supporters. Special thanks go to tonight's presenting sponsor, Blackson Brick. He's been a longtime partner of the chapter, and they have been involved in AIA Dallas for almost 20 years. We greatly appreciate their continued partnership and generous support. So thank you, Mark, Bronson, and the Blackson family and team. This evening's co-sponsor is Malone Maxwell Dennehy Architects. So Michael and Paul, your support is deeply appreciated. Thank you. Our silver sponsor is Hosley Lighting and Power Solutions. Thank you, Mike and Tiffany. Our bronze sponsor is JHP Architecture and Urban Design. Thank you to Mike, Mark, and the JHP team. In addition to tonight's event sponsors, we would like to also thank our annual chapter sponsors by level of support. Hosley Lighting and Power Solutions, Modern Luxury Interiors Texas, Blackson Brick Company, Eggersman USA, HKS, JHP Architecture and Urban Design, LA Fist Partners, Risk Strategies,
I got joined on.
and JQ. These sponsors take their support to the next level, committing to year-long contributions, involvement, and ongoing support of our members, committees, and programs. To this group and to all our sponsors, thank you for making this prestigious celebration possible. So now I'm pleased to welcome our 2021 AIA Dallas President, Alejo, Al Hernandez AIA, who will be the master of ceremonies for the evening festivities. With his passion, enthusiasm, and long history of volunteer engagement, we feel very fortunate to have Al at the helm this year. Al, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Zaida. Good evening, everyone. I am very, very happy and humbled to be here as your 2021 AIA Dallas president. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce or butcher one of your names, but the accent comes for free. I don't charge for it. It just comes natural.
Yay!
So folks, as you all know, AIA Dallas is the voice of architecture in our community. You know that it's through your great design that our members make lives better here in our beautiful city and beyond. It's crucial for us as architects to preserve the past, honor the present, and continue to shape the future. Tonight, AIA Dallas has the great privilege of recognizing that extraordinary work that you guys been doing. It's inspiring to see how this beautiful architectural community has evolved over the course of the past year alone. And I am very excited to see how this 2021 will strengthen and model us even further. You see, it's not a little thing that is happening here. It's thanks to these honorees that all those great big forward changes that are happening is being made right now in Dallas are happening. Our 2020 Community Honors Committee, led by no other than the great Michael Malone, FAIA, worked very hard last year to select those award candidates and develop their nominations to local, state, and national. And it's the fruit of their labor all those honorees that will be celebrating tonight. By the way, I would like to mention that our 2021 call for nominations for the 3 tiers is already open. Please share your nominations with our great committee. For more information, go to aiadallas.org. Some of you may remember that last year, I had the honor to be your 2020 Texas Society of Architects Conference Chair. And while we have a great start all the way from 2019 with our team, planning exciting events, tours, competitions, charrette, you name it, due to the pandemic, we have to quickly pivot into the virtual format. And we did it successfully. And thanks to Connie and her team and the partnership with us, we had an epic conference. But we were unable to recognize the Txa awards and honor recipients. So I am very pleased to announce that tonight we'll be able to do that, but we are not doing it alone. We will doing this in partnership with the Texas Society of Architects leadership, both past and present leaders. So without further ado, let's start. I would like to introduce all the way for Corpus Christi to introduce our first honoree and this evening distinguished opening speaker, nobody else but our immediate past president, TXA president, Connie Rivera, AIA with WKMC Architects. Connie.
I am.
Where is that mute button, Connie?
There we go. Got it. Thank you. Thank you again, Alejandro. I appreciate that wonderful introduction. And so we begin with our first honoree from TXA, and that is for the Cornerstone Award. Created in 1999, the Texas Society of Architects Cornerstone Award is presented to a member of the public in recognition for outstanding contributions that enhance the quality of life by elevating architecture and the arts, promoting the value of community, or preserving the natural environment. This is the highest honor TXA can bestow on an architect. And for 2020, we have Robert Decherd, Honorary TXA. Excuse me for a minute, I'm pulling up my sheet though. Oh, there we go. Robert Decherd, Honorary TXA, has been named the Texas Society of Architects Cornerstone recipient for 2020. Mr. Decherd is a chairman, president, and CEO of the Belo Corporation, parent company of the Dallas Morning News, and chairman of the Parks for Downtown Dallas. This award recognizes Decherd's sustained and significant contributions in enhancing quality of life in Dallas and Texas by elevating architecture and promoting the value of community. Between 2000 and 2014, under Decherd's direction, the Belo Corporation and Belo Foundation invested a combined $14 million in mostly downtown Dallas projects, including Belo Garden, Catedral Sanitario de Guadalupe Bell Tower, Downtown Parks Master Plan, Ferris Plaza, Inside the Loop Report, Lubin Plaza, and 912 Commerce Beautification. In 2013, the Dallas Morning News partnered with the University of Texas at Arlington's Dillon Center for the Texas Architecture to fund the post of architecture critic Mark Lamster, whose writings have elevated the conversation about the built environment in Dallas and beyond. In 2017, the paper relocated its headquarters to a long vacant George Dahl building that once housed the main Dallas Public Library, a move that helped bolster a $221 million redevelopment of 2 historic downtown buildings. Decherd has also participated in the Dallas civic affairs for more than 4 decades through leadership in city and urban planning issues. He has chaired or helped organize numerous civic initiatives, including Dallas Plan, Emerald Bracelet Plan, CBD Comprehensive Transportation Plan, and the Dallas Arts Districts. And there's so many more things that he's done to benefit the Dallas community, so I can't spell it out anymore. Thank you again, Robert Decherd.
Connie, thank you. And thank you to AIA Dallas for nominating me for the 2020 Cornerstone Award. This recognition is very meaningful to me, and also to my many collaborators who've worked in recent decades to enhance the built environment of our great city. We are making progress. First of all, greetings and congratulations to everyone being spotlighted tonight by Celebrate Architecture. Each of you is contributing to the richness of urban life that increasingly defines Dallas physically and societally. This is the sure direction of our city as we look to the future. Right now, words of encouragement are vitally important for the profession. I want to acknowledge the duress COVID-19 has caused for many of you and your firms, and therefore for you personally and for your families. Hopefully, each of you has found opportunity or even made an illuminating discovery of some type in the pandemic's upside-down world. Encouragement begins with optimism about what is to come. Dallas and North Texas are still in the early stage of an expansion that few urban centers experience anytime, anywhere in the world. This augurs well for business opportunities, for planners, architects, landscape architects, and all the professions and trades involved in your projects. Thankfully, there is also a large cohort of clients in North Texas who aspire to build structures and spaces that epitomize quality design, functionality, and sustainability. These economic prospects are, of course, vital to your pursuit of professional and personal success. What's especially exciting to me, though, is the prospect of exceptional and sensitive design helping shape the character of our city through the course of the 21st century. A major force in all this is the public sector. From experience, we know how challenging it is for governments, counties, and major agencies such as DART and TxDOT to apply these design standards consistently. What I've realized over the past 45 years working with the public sector is that tone at the top matters as much there as it does in the private sector, and perhaps even more. For Dallas to excel in the planning, architecture, and environment of our city, we must have elected leaders and public sector executives who thoroughly understand the benefits of consistent, coherent, and ambitious design, and make this a personal priority. And it is increasingly important that public sector leaders know how to work synchronously with private sector partners. The manner in which Parks for Downtown Dallas is helping design and build urban neighborhood parks is a prime example. Over a long period of time, we've gained the confidence and trust of the city, DART, and TxDOT by delivering some great results while keeping in mind that the city of Dallas, not Parks for Downtown Dallas, is the ultimate owner of these wonderful public spaces. Our relationships have given Parks for Downtown Dallas significant influence in the planning and construction of the parks. Amy Meadows leads a very talented team focused solely on this one objective. And combined with city bond dollars approved by the citizens of Dallas, we have adequate funds on hand to complete the parks as designed. But for this to occur on a broader scale, we all have to work at it constantly and often in coordination. Individually and collectively, we can make sure that mayors, council members, city managers, county judges, and county administrators, board chairs, and agency CEOs are in sync with quality planning, design, and construction expectations. Then we need to support them in every way possible because competing priorities and public political considerations are ever present. One has only to look at the debacle of rebuilding Thomas Jefferson High School and Cary Middle School to be reminded of this. As I mentioned earlier, and regardless of the particulars that define a program like the 4 downtown priority parks, fundamentals truly matter. Sophisticated, comprehensive planning, the selection of truly talented architects and landscape architects who make lasting, subtle design choices. Engineers, fabricators, and constructors who demand the best. Teams like this produced downtown's first ever Parks Master Plan in 2004, as well as its update in 2013. A team like this, led by Chuck McDaniel, converted the surface parking lot across from ADEX into Pacific Plaza, a 3.8 acre urban neighborhood park that opened just 15 months ago. By this time in 2023, just 2 years from now, the priority parks will all be finished and a total of 23 acres of new parks will have been completed in downtown's built environment in just 18 years. Quite the accomplishment, something all of us can be proud of. One last but crucial idea to leave with you. The point of origin counts a great deal. What I mean by this, and I encourage you to think about, is always to understand and appreciate at the outset why a project is being undertaken. What are the dynamics? Is it strictly for a private client or an organization or an institution, or like the priority parks, principally for the public good? Having this right always results in better, even extraordinary, structures, parks, trails, transit corridors, and road systems. Enjoy this evening. Thank you again on my own behalf and all of the teams who've supported me through these years. And again, my congratulations and thanks to you all.
Thank you, Mr. Decherd. Thank you for that great message. We're looking forward to those 23 acres in the future. And I'm sure that all of us will be looking for that point of origin in future projects. We are very glad to have you as a friend of downtown, our AIA membership, and our profession.
Thank you.
Folks, as you know, it takes significant amount of time, effort, dedication to make an impact in this great state of Texas. The Texas Society of Architects 2020 Honor Awards recognized individuals, organizations, programs for advocating change, enhancing the community, and furthering the profession of architecture. AIA Dallas was honored to champion these 8 winning nominations through the hard work of our Community Honors Committee. To make this program even better, we have invited guest presenters to introduce our honorees. We also would like for the honorees to say a few words after their introduction. So let's start with our first award. I would like to welcome our current TXA president, Audrey Maswell, AIA partner at Malone Maswell Dennehy Architects. Audrey.
Thank you, Al. I am honored to be here today to present TXA's Architecture Firm Award, which is presented to a single Texas firm that has consistently produced distinguished architecture and has contributed significantly to the profession and the community for a period of at least 10 years. This award is the highest honor the Texas Society of Architects can confer upon an architecture firm. Today, I have the honor of presenting TXA's 2020 Architecture Firm Award to Dsgn Associates. Founded in 1992 by Bob McFessel, FAIA, the firm has a rich portfolio of projects that are varied in both type and location. And I have to say that 16 years ago, when I interviewed at this firm, I was very impressed with the body of work that they had and still continue to be. And one day I'll forgive Bob for not hiring me. The firm has also previously received the 2018 AIA Dallas Firm of the Year Award and can be credited with advancing the arts, urbanity, sustainability, and equity of Dallas through their 27 years of work. They have a deep care for their community, visible through projects like the recently completed Vickery Meadow Library, and that care extends to the architecture community as well. If you're involved in AIA, you've likely come across one of their team members. They are truly deserving of this honor Congratulations to Dsgn and welcome to Bob McFessel, who will be accepting the award.
Well done.
Bob, I believe you're muted.
There we go. How's that? Thank you, Audrey, for that very nice introduction. We are hiring, so if you would like to come back in, we'd be glad to talk to you again.
No, I'm gonna.
That said, we are very grateful to AIA Dallas for recognizing Dsgn as a recipient of the TXA 2020 Architecture Firm Award. We remain humbled and honored by this award, and we look forward to thanking TXA in San Antonio this October in person, hopefully. But tonight, we'd like to thank AIA Dallas for being such an extraordinarily fine component of our professional organization, the American Institute of Architects. It is only because we've been members of and active in AIA Dallas that we've been able to achieve any of the accomplishments in design, in service, and advocacy that led us to this award. AIA Dallas, and I've had the opportunity to travel some on behalf of AIA and see other components in action. AIA Dallas is an exemplar among AIA chapters, helping its members to be better in all that we architects do and all that we stand for. Design excellence, livable communities, technical prowess, professional ethics, so much more. The programs, networks, collaboration, and education provided by AIA Dallas have been a critical context for our practice over the past 28 years, both inside and outside the office. Any success we have enjoyed is directly traceable to these. We thank AIA Dallas, its leadership, its staff, and all of our fellow members for their support, inspiration, and example. You all set a very high bar to live up to, but we will continue to try to do so. And I want to thank all of the members of our staff, current and past, especially my partner, Beth Brandt, for being just such a great group to collaborate with and work with on a daily basis. That's personal for me. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bob. And
Congratulations, Bob. Well done.
next, we have a past president, an architect of architects, the only guy that makes cool wear the watch over the sleeve of your shirt, the one and only Michael Malone, FAIA partner at Malone Maxwell Dennehy Architects. Mike, take it.
Thank you, Al. I'll try to live up to that stirring introduction. The award I get to give tonight is the Texas Society of Architects Award for Outstanding Educational Contribution to my friend, Bradley Bell, the director of the program at the University of Texas at Arlington. For those of you who've had a chance to meet Brad, you know that he is a passionate educator, somebody who feels strongly about architectural education, not only as a pathway to our profession, but as a guidepost for making people better citizens in this communities in which we live. And for that, I really admire Brad's terrific contributions to education. One of the things I think that's admirable about Brad is that he overcame the handicap of a Texas A&M education to rise to the place he is now. He went on to Columbia, got a master's degree there, and then began a spate of teaching at a remarkable set of schools. He's participated in educating people at Tulane, at UC Boulder, and finally at UT Arlington, where we are the beneficiaries of his intelligence, his care, and his passion. Any of you that have recent UTA grads in your offices, as we do, and know how skilled and talented and competent they are, can lay that expertise squarely on Brad's hands. And I think we should all feel really proud to have somebody with his credentials and expertise helping us educate the people in this community. One of the things I think is particularly interesting about Brad as an educator, and I come to this from firsthand knowledge because I'm an adjunct professor at UTA. I get to see the team that he's assembled around him over the last several years, the quality of the staff that he has around him and the teachers that are there, and their enthusiasm for what we're doing there is exceptional. I think that for all of us who work at that school, we see Brad as an emblem of the possibilities for academia at its core and at its best. And I think that his interest and passion in technology particularly is something that's inspiring, especially to somebody like me who can barely spell the word technology. Brad's interest in technology is not just for the what is it and how does it work and what can it do. He's particularly focused on how we can use technology to solve problems in the built environment, the way that we as architects interface with people applied to things like housing and problems with the urban environment. And his expertise in those areas influences and informs everything that he does. So please join me in congratulating my friend Brad Bell, the perfect recipient for this award.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to start off by saying thank you to TXA, and I would be remiss if I didn't also immediately say thank you to Michael Malone, dear friend and mentor, and to all of the family that's there at Dallas AIA, who's been such a wonderful community, who's helped shepherd this award along and been such an integral part of helping me to receive this. It's an honor to follow in the footsteps of so many people that I deeply respect who've received this award, so many people that I look up to that have received this over the past number of years that I call also mentors in the field of education and design. You know, education, I believe, is such a great equalizer. And as I've been a part of this for the last 30 years, you know, I think back, I taught my first class as a GTA almost 30 years ago. I consider myself to be so unbelievably fortunate that I get to do something that I'm passionate about as something that I wake up each day and I think about in terms of education, especially something that involves architecture and design. You know, there's nothing that I could imagine doing that could be more rewarding in that regard. I know all of you, if you think back on your own education, you remember a faculty member that somehow was instrumental in turning that kind of light bulb on for you. And to look around, as Michael mentioned, to see a school filled with people that are so unbelievably passionate about that as their calling, and to be involved with a community of faculty has been so unbelievably rewarding as I've stepped now into a role where I get to help shepherd not just students, but faculty into that position. So, you know, it's been an absolute dream of mine in that regard to be able to serve in that capacity, first as a faculty member, now as the director of the school. And, you know, if you've been involved in any capacity, either as someone who's hired one of our students from UTA or you've been out to the school on a review, you know that we are in many ways a hidden gem, that we have so many things that I think involve, whether it's programs or it's the research that's going on, so many things that I'm so unbelievably proud of. But I think the thing that education is ultimately built on is the students. And I couldn't be more proud of the students. They are inspirations in terms of their hard work, their passion, the earnestness that they bring to the classroom each and every day. And that couldn't be more true than this past year in terms of how they have persevered and work through unbelievably challenging situations. So to be recognized in the midst of this particular moment makes me incredibly proud to receive this, not on my behalf, but really on the behalf of the faculty and the students that I represent for UTA, and really those that have come before me for the last really 20 years that I've been involved as an educator. So thank you very much for this award. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Brad.
Thank you.
Very happy
Congratulations.
to have you at UTA. And also, we're blessed to have you in our board of directors. Looking forward to continue making the change along your side.
Thank you.
And now to introduce the Flowers Award, I would like to welcome back Connie Rivera, AIA. Connie.
Thank you, Alejandro. The Award for Excellence in the Promotion of Architecture through the Media in honor of John G. Flowers, Honorary AIA, recognizes an individual or organization for excellence in the promotion of architecture through the media. Media in this case is a broad category and can include print, radio, TV, web, and digital format. I am particularly honored to present Kate Holliday, Honorary AIA Fort Worth, as this year's honoree for the John G. Flowers Award. She is the founding director of the David Dillon Center for Texas Architecture and professor of architecture at the University of Texas at Arlington. She is an award-winning architectural historian, researcher, and teacher, as well as an author focused on the built environment. She has written numerous articles and essays, as well as her acclaimed book, The Open-Ended City, David Dillon on Texas Architecture. It was published in 2019 by the University of Texas Press. Kate serves on the editorial board and frequently contributes to AIA Dallas Columns magazine, and is a member of the Board of Directors for Historic Fort Worth, a nonprofit dedicated to promoting the value of historic preservation. She's also served on the State Board of Review for Texas Historical Commission's National Register programs and was a member of the editorial board for the journal Architectural Education. It is my pleasure to present Kate Holliday.
Thanks so much, Connie, and thanks to AIA Dallas for supporting this nomination and walking it through, especially Richard Miller, who really helped me put everything together. And thanks to TXA for the recognition. I know as a historian, I work a lot with architects, and that's not always the case with many of my historian colleagues. And I really enjoy that collaboration for a lot of reasons. I think the main one is that it keeps me very honest about what I think is important about history, right? What it really matters about architectural history. It really, the rubber hits the road when you're talking to practitioners and people doing historic preservation. And so it's a part of the way I think about history that really matters to me a great deal. And so I appreciate the recognition for the effort that I put into public storytelling about architecture as well. Excellent writing is fundamental to good architecture. It helps connect architecture to a bigger audience beyond the practitioners. And it also helps connect architecture to the stories that we tell about places and who we are. And it was an incredible honor, an incredible learning process actually to go back and put together the collection of David Dillon's writing that became The Open-Ended City. He wrote more than 1,000 articles for the Dallas Morning News, and narrowing it down to 63 was pretty tough. I really want to thank the group who we assembled as a little bit of a committee who knew David because I did not. And so my editorial selections versus those that people who really knew David personally would have made, I know were quite different. But I think that that's a part of this kind of process of thinking about this last point that I want to make, which is that places like Dallas and Fort Worth have history. And I think often we think of our cities as being really new and in a constant state of being created right now, but our cities have history. And when you look back and you read those 1,000 articles between 1981 and 2006, you realize how much has changed, how much, sadly, in some ways, some things are the same, but a lot has changed as well. And you really begin to think about this incredible tradition and culture of architecture and design that has developed in Dallas and Fort Worth and Texas across the past couple of generations. And it is definitely a big honor of my career to be a part of the storytelling about this place. And I look forward to doing more. So really, I appreciate the award. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Well deserved, Kate. I would think that Richard actually got a little easier with your credentials, probably was a no-brainer for this award. Now, to introduce the first TXA Honorary Membership Award, I would like to invite another past president of TXA, a friend, a mentor, an advisor, the one and only Mike Hellenhausen, AIA, principal at Omniplan and CEO. COO.
Thank you, Al.
My pleasure.
Honorary membership in the Texas Society of Architects is one of the highest honors the society can bestow upon a person outside the profession of architecture. Honorary membership is awarded to an individual for her or his long-term association with architects, architecture, or allied professions in providing a better quality of life in Texas. Courtney S. Garrett, Honorary TXA and Honorary AIA Dallas, is President and CEO of Downtown Dallas, Inc., and has been dedicated to the revitalization of Downtown Dallas in various roles with the organization since 2002. Downtown Dallas, Inc. serves as the primary advocate and champion for downtown, ensuring that it grows as a vibrant center of urban life, recognized locally and globally for the quality of its business, hospitality, entertainment, living, and cultural environments. Courtney's resume spans more than 20 years in the development of livable communities. Courtney is a fellow of the German Marshall Fund, an international organization serving to improve transatlantic relations and address international policy initiatives focused on improving our cities and communities. She has previously served on the board of directors for the International Downtown Association. Locally, she serves on the board of directors for Children's Medical Center and has previously served on the boards of the Dallas Regional Chamber, Visit Dallas, AIA Dallas, Dallas Heritage Village, the McKinney Avenue Transit Authority, the Arts Community Alliance, and Friends of the Santa Fe Trail. She is the author of numerous papers and presentations on innovation in public-private partnerships, women in city building roles, urban planning, urbanism, and other topics. Congratulations, Courtney.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm seeing the chat bubbles pop up and I'm feeling a little blushed at the moment. Well, and I will have to start by simply congratulating one of my fellow honorees, Catherine Seal. Catherine, I saw your note come up. Catherine and I are longtime colleagues, friends, and Rockwall Stingerettes. So I'll let her follow up on that comment here. To all of you, this is such an incredible, incredible honor. I've often said that I am a planner or an architect, not by training, but by experience. And
Hi, the person you're about to speak with has call captions turned on. They'll see captions of what you say to help them listen along.
well, you know, if it wasn't that, it was going to be one of my kids running in any moment. So it's fine. But no, I'm so lucky to be in this position because of so many of you. 20 years of your friendship, your mentorship, your advice, and your partnership. AIA Dallas and Downtown Dallas, Inc. have had a long-standing partnership with many shared goals, programs, and a shared vision for how we build this city. A Dallas that's inclusive and sustainable, vibrant, and an economically strong place, with that stress on the word place. So I just want to thank you all. I want to thank AIA Dallas and the Texas Society of Architects. I'm truly, truly honored this evening.
Congratulations, Courtney. You are the type of partner that we architects need. Thank you for everything you do and have done. And guessing by the more than 20 years of experience, I guess you start when you were 10 or 12 on your career.
Very kind.
Now to introduce the next honorary membership recipient, I would like to welcome back our TXA president, Audrey Maxwell, AIA.
Thank you, Al. I'm very proud today to recognize Catherine's seal for honorary membership, one of the highest honors we can bestow on someone outside the profession. Catherine is a champion of preservation who has successfully used it as a tool for economic growth in our city. She is the former executive director of Preservation Dallas and the former chair of the City of Dallas Landmark Commission, where she served for 8 years. During her tenure, she fought to broaden the city's historic preservation program from one of administration to one of influence in the urban planning process. She is a powerful ally for architecture and for her city, providing a better quality of life for Texans. Congratulations, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm introduction. And thank you, Dallas AIA, for this incredible honor. Wow, I was flattered to be proposed by Norm Alston, and then flattered when I got the letters of recommendation that came through. I think everybody made me sound better than I really am. And then really flattered when I was selected as a recipient. So just absolutely over the moon, and could not be more excited to share it with Courtney Garrett, dear friend and fellow Stingerette, part of the Orange Wave back in Rockwall. So, but Norm, truly for you, I want to say thanks for your support and your mentorship of me, and also your sincerity and all the many discussions that we've had. It's so important to me that you've elevated the work of historic preservation within the chapter, but I think throughout the whole state of Texas, and have helped reestablish preservation as a way to create a more vibrant and urban environment. And so, so I think I was honored because of my work in that field, and I think you've done a lot to pave the road for that. And then all of the people that wrote my letters of recommendation, former Mayor Mike Rawlings, Mark Lamster, I think one of the foremost architecture critics of our time, Thomas Jane, decorator of the Ancient Modern, Evan Thomas at Preservation Texas, and then my mentor, Robin McCaffrey, FAIA and FAICP. So with that, I just wanted to give a shout out to Zaida and the AIA board and also the staff. I think you guys have really broadened the what it is to be AIA Dallas, and have included not just architecture, but also all of the arts, urban design, landscape, planning, in all of the facets of life. And so I want to applaud you all for that. So thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Catherine.
Yes,
Well
congratulations.
deserved. Don't cut yourself short. You're amazing.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Now, to introduce one of my favorite awards, the Txa Artisan Award, I would like to welcome back Connie Rivera, AIA.
Thank you. Thank you, Alejandro. It is my particular honor to present this award. I too have a fondness for all things due to craftsmanship. And so the Texas Society of Architects Artisan Award is presented to individuals, groups, or organizations outside the profession whose artistry, talent, technique, diligence, creative insight, and collaborative nature support the creation of safe, beautiful, and sustainable environments, and make significant contributions to the built and natural environments of Texas. Ron Siebler of Siebler Remodeling and Historic Preservation exemplifies all of those qualities. He draws upon a rich legacy of art and craftsmanship that is rooted in the training from previous generations. Before electrical power and automation, there was simply skill and knowing how to work with materials at hand. Siebler is a bridge to that previous time, having a modern perspective and experience in the application of historic techniques. The result is an authentic approach to historic construction, an old world command of materials, and an artistic flair for bringing it all together. Again, I am very honored to present this award to Ron Siebler.
Thank you and good evening. I'm Ron Siebler, and I am honored to be the recipient of this year's Artisans Award. First, I too would like to acknowledge Norm Alston and AIA Dallas for nominating me for this award. Norm is one of the finest preservation architects I'm privileged to know, not to mention he's a pretty nice guy too. Both he and AIA Dallas hold themselves and their work to the highest possible standards, and I'm humbled that they believe my work is also of that caliber. Finally, thank you, Texas Society of Architects, for this incredible award. I am truly honored. Thank you.
Congrats, Ron. Thank you for all that great work that you do. Now, to introduce the Citation Award, I would like to welcome back Audrey Maxwell, AIA.
Thank you. The Citation of Honor is awarded to individuals, groups, or organizations outside the profession whose activity makes significant contributions in supporting the creation of safe, beautiful, and sustainable environments in Texas. I have the pleasure today of presenting the 2020 Citation of Honor to Parks for Downtown Dallas. Now, we've heard quite a bit from them already, so I won't go back over the same details we've already heard, but I will say this, that they're not just talk, they're all about action. As you heard in Robert's remarks, they've made significant progress over the last 6 years. They were only founded in 2014, and they've made an obvious significant contribution to our urban core. As a longtime resident of downtown Dallas, I can speak to the positive impact these parks bring to our quality of life. Dallasites now have direct access to nature, improving living conditions for downtown residents and providing reprieve to those working in nearby office towers. There used to be a time when living in downtown meant that you had to walk a really long way to get to a park, and that is no longer the case thanks to efforts like these. Parks for Downtown Dallas has been integral to creating safe, beautiful, and sustainable environments for Texans. Congratulations to Parks for Downtown Dallas, and welcome to Amy Meadows.
Thank you so much, Audrey. On behalf of all of my Parks for Downtown Dallas colleagues, you've heard from Robert Decherd, our chairman, Guy Kerr, Dunya Shive, Marion Spitzberg, our trustees, Todd Awe, Sarah Hughes, Jan Talashay, and Ken Travis, my colleagues. We thank the Texas Society of Architects for this Citation of Honor Award. Like the old saying, if you see a turtle sitting on a fence post, you know it had to have some help getting there. And Parks for Dallas is receiving this recognition tonight due to the time and effort of a lot of very busy people. We are particularly grateful to Dallas for taking the lead in nominating us. And we are also thankful to those who wrote letters of support for our nomination. And these include Calvert Collins Bratton, president of the Dallas Park and Recreation Board, Courtney Garrett, president and CEO of Downtown Dallas, Inc., Larry Good, retired chairman and co-founder of GFF, Mary Margaret Jones, president of Hargraves Jones, Mark Lamster, architecture critic for the Dallas Morning News and professor at UT Arlington and Loeb Fellow at Harvard Graduate School of Design, as well as Chuck McDaniel, managing principal of SWA Group. Parks for Downtown Dallas is so honored to engage in this work of the revitalization of downtown. We are fans of DDI and Courtney, and we really appreciate their partnership in all of this work. Robert mentioned this has been a process, and we continue to keep moving forward. Very excited that we opened Pacific Plaza in October of 2019, and we'll be opening Weston Square, the second of the 4 parks, March 26, coming up here in a couple months. We will open Carpenter Park in spring of 2022, and we'll break ground Wood Park, our final park, early this fall, and open it up late 2022, early 2023. So we're really excited about the impact that these are having on downtown, and we are going to keep pushing until we get them done. And we just thank you all again for your support, and congratulations to all the other honorees. We are really honored to be in this group. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Congratulations to you and everybody at Parks for Downtown Dallas. We love to have Pacific Plaza as our front yard in the attics. We're blessed to have such a great place in front of us. And now to conclude the state awards, I would like to invite nobody else but another past TXA president, Paul Dennehy AIA, partner at Malone Maxwell Dennehy Architects, to introduce the 25-year award. Take it, Paul.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. So good to be with everybody tonight. Each year, the Texas Society of Architects 25-year award recognizes one building completed 25 to 50 years earlier that has stood the test of time by retaining its central form, its character, and its overall architectural integrity. This evening, it is truly an honor to present the TXA 25-year award to the Dallas Museum of Art. Founded in 1903, the museum grew as the city grew. Its first roots began in the Dallas Public Library, and it found an early home at Fair Park until 1983. In that year, the museum would become the anchoring component of the new downtown Dallas Arts District. Located on North Harwood Street, Edward Larrabee Barnes designed an elegant modern museum clad inside and out with beautifully detailed Indiana limestone. The basic structure of the museum is a rectilinear assemblage of low blocks and galleries interspersed with courtyards noted for their elegance and integrity. With its iconic barrel vault, central gallery, and ceremonial entrance that faces Flora Street, this museum set a high standard for quality design and construction of the future arts district. The museum has been completed in 3 phases, the first phase being in 1983 with Edward Larrabee Barnes as the architect, design architect, and Pratt Box and Henderson of Dallas as the associate architect. In 1985, the second phase was completed, the Reeves Wing addition, again by Edward Larrabee Barnes and Pratt Box Henderson as the associate architect. And then finally, in 1993, the Hammond Wing addition was completed by Edward Larrabee Barnes, along with Thomas and Buziotis as the associate architect. Upon its opening, it was a feature project in many regional and national magazine publications, including Progressive Architecture, Architecture Magazine, Texas Architect, and the New York Times. Today, the building remains as it was conceived, a true public art museum. The Dallas Museum of Art contains more than 24,000 objects in its collection. It routinely hosts national and international exhibits, and it distinguishes itself as one of the top museums in the world. Joining us this evening from the Dallas Museum of Art is Augustine Arteaga, PhD, the Eugene McDermott Director, and Tamara Wooten Forsyth, the Marcus Rose Family Deputy Director. I'd like for Augustine Arteaga to say a few words.
Thank you for your wonderful introduction. You say me a lot of things that I was going to say, so thank you. And good evening, everyone. It's a great honor to be with you tonight to celebrate architecture and to accept the prestigious 25-year award on behalf of the board and staff of the DMA. We thank the American Institute of Architects and their members in the Texas Society of Architects for this prize. I am personally thrilled to be here in the company of so many architectural experts and aficionados, as I have a love and lifelong interest in the field. A little piece of personal history is that before turning to the study of art history, my undergraduate degree was in architecture. Another one is that I visited Dallas many times before I moved here in 2013 to serve as the DMA's Eugene McDermott Director. And I have long admired the city's architecture. It is such an amazing catalog of extraordinary works by the most amazing architects, local and from around the world. A great sample of it is the stunning architecture that we find throughout the art district. While among the most renowned museums in the country, the DMA's true joy and honors come from being the city's art museum, a place for all, a place of inclusion, a place of wonder and discover where art comes alive. Our goal and my highest priority is to find new ways to serve and connect with our community. That began in 1983 with the construction of our building designed by Edward Larrabee Benz. As you all know, we were the first cultural institution to move downtown, and we continue to anchor the art district. As our art collection grew, we added an addition 10 years later so that more art could be seen. And most recently, as downtown changed, we renovated our main entrance to create an open and welcoming outdoor space, the Eagle Plaza. That's the only one thing you miss, Paul. And each transformation maintains Barnes' original aesthetic. As the city evolves, the DMA evolves. When I think about the museum's future, I see possibilities for this magnificent building to adapt to the vibrancy and energy of our ever-growing city. Thank you again for this honor. I'm so very proud to be along so many fantastic honorees. Thank you.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Congratulations to Dr. Arteaga and everybody at DMA. And I'm gonna try something now. Please don't kill me, Zaida and Katie, but I would like everybody, if you can unmute right now and join me in recognizing all these TXA honorees statewide.
Hey, congratulations.
Yay. That's the connection. So hopefully that worked. And now please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Let's move on to our local AIA 2020 awards. AIA Dallas Community Honors is a program that gives us the opportunity to recognize and celebrate our Dallas peers, our colleagues, clients, civic leaders, that it brings great joy to us to present this time. To introduce the first award, I would like to welcome back our ED, Zaida Basora. Zaida.
Thank you, Al. Alejo, I would never kill you for being festive. So we begin with the Sustainability Commendation Award, which is given to public officials, community groups, business owners, and design professionals for taking chances on behalf of the environment and the design community. This award recipient is nominated by the AIA Dallas Committee on the Environment. Tonight, we're so proud to recognize my friend and colleague, Susan Alvarez, PE, who currently serves as Assistant Director of the Office of Environmental Quality and Sustainability for the City of Dallas. Susan is a passionate advocate for sustainability. I had the opportunity to work with her at the City of Dallas, where she has been a champion for several sustainability efforts, including sustainable citywide floodplain management, leading the updates of the city's drainage manual, and most recently working on the implementation of the city's comprehensive environmental climate action plan and the urban forest master plan. Susan is always eager and available to share her knowledge, and we appreciate her partnership with AIA Dallas. Susan is definitely leaving her mark for the betterment of the city of Dallas. So congratulations, Susan.
Thank you. So I have to share, I am an engineer by background. And when Zaida first called me, I thought it was some sort of cruel joke because architects don't normally give engineers awards. And then I had kind of a Sally Field moment where it's like, ooh, they like me. They really like me. Seriously, I've had so much fun. I've met so many fabulous people doing the climate plan. And it's kind of interesting because I come from a watershed background. And one of the big things right now in urban planning is watershed urbanism, where you take the curvilinear elements of a drainage system and kind of soften the rectilinear building envelope. And so, you know, as we worked through this plan, I got outside of my environmental world and more into the world of the building envelope, because what a huge carbon footprint most buildings provide. And I got kind of a primer in some fantastic energy efficient designs that were also aesthetically wonderful, saved their building owners wonderful budgetary constraints as well. I noticed one of the earlier award winners had the Vickery Meadows Library, and I will tell you, it's my poster child right now for sustainable design. Not only for the architectural elements, but the things like the curved walls, which actually provide a degree of resilience, which we need to start looking at in our buildings. So I so appreciate the support of the AIA members because they did contribute towards the plan, told us where we might tweak some things that the design community could support or maybe not so much. And AIA did write a letter of support supporting the plan. I will tell you that our climate plan, when I started, my sister told me that I needed to fix up my resume because I was going to be looking for a job in 6 months because they don't do climate in Texas. But I love proving her wrong, and I did that again with the climate plan. We're just starting though. The plan was not the end, and I look forward to working with you, all your colleagues, as we move forward. I'm excited by all the parks in downtown Dallas. That greens up our landscape. It helps reduce heat island. It just makes it a much better place for everyone to live. That said, I am here not necessarily because of me. I have a fabulous team at the City of Dallas within the Office of Environmental Quality and Sustainability. I have a fabulous team of internal City of Dallas stakeholders and about 20 different other departments. And I have a fabulous team of people outside of the city that are really, really good stakeholders and really, really good partners. And I'm really proud to count AIA as one of those partners. Kidding aside, I am very humbled. I'm very honored to be here. So thank you.
Congratulations, Susan. We do love you. Hopefully we had more engineers like you.
Well, the Fish and Wildlife Service did call me a kinder, greener engineer, and I took that as a compliment.
You are. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Up next, to share the Architecture Educator Award, I have somebody very near and close to my heart, somebody that is an inspiration to lots of students that have made a great impression in our architects to be all those inspiring architects that we have out of this area for many years. A mentor, an advisor for all those young future architects, Waldo Rivera Ortiz, Associate AIA Designer and Educator at City Lab High School. Take it, Waldo.
Thank you. Viva Colombia.
Viva Colombia.
Viva Colombia. So thank you. Thank you. Y Puerto Rico también, por supuesto. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm going to start my clock so I'm going to do as fast as I can. I'm going to talk about a guy that inspired me when I started teaching architecture at the high school level. So the Architecture Educator Award is given to educators from local K-12 schools, community colleges, universities, and continuing education providers for their commitment to the profession and future architects by instilling and fostering the desire to learn. This award comes from AIA Dallas Education Outreach Committee. You're welcome to join at any time. Chris Carson was a practicing architect and a casualty of the 2008 recession prior to beginning his teaching career. He discovered new joy in a life devoted to teaching future architects, engineers, and designers, empowering the next generation of active citizens. Currently, Chris is the architecture instructor at the Technology Exploration and Career Center East in Louisville ISD, just northeast of us. Now, for a decade, Chris has had the patience and the optimism needed to work with 14 to 18 years old from diverse backgrounds and multiple interests that include design-related careers, but many of them are interested in other things like a car mechanic, medicine, millionaire, which is a career, rich person, which is a related field, professional athlete, and so on. So no matter who it is, he has treated each of them with the dignity they deserve and the attention many don't receive at other classes or at home. I had a chance to run with Chris and Kathy Bolt from AIA Dallas and other fellow high school teachers some sessions at Txa conference. And it is amazing to see how easy it is to work with him and how thorough his program is. His students research and design human-centered proposals for current social issues, such as refugee camps in war-torn countries and or in our Texas borderland, the relationships down there. But the one thing I have to add is that he's willing to go out of his way to help his fellow high school teachers learn, grow, and become a community across the whole region, across DFW. So for me, it is a great honor to introduce the linebacker of high school architecture teachers, Chris Carson.
Thank you very much, Waldo. It's great to be introduced by my partner in crime, the guy who keeps me on my toes. Yeah, I am about the size of an NFL linebacker. I figured that out when I started teaching, and I have to work to not be so intimidating to students. But it's a great analogy. Thanks to AIA Dallas for this award. It's especially meaningful here to receive the 2020 award. I haven't received any combat pay, but this goes a long way for commemorating the past year that we had. I've really enjoyed my time as a practicing architect for many years, but to be honest, there was always something missing. And when I first started teaching, not of my own will, it wasn't by choice, it was for survival. But once I started teaching, I realized that hole had been filled, and I had found a new purpose with my profession. And so it's great to be having taught for 10 years now and being able to prepare future architects and to inspire, encourage, and guide them into architecture or one of our related professions. So it's a great honor to serve the profession that way, and I'm very thankful to receive the award. Great teaching doesn't happen without great students to receive it and execute it. So I am blown away and amazed every year at some of these students as you see them scrolling through the presentation there. These students who come through my classroom and go on to do wonderful and amazing things. So there's some really cool things that happen in the classroom, and then there's some really cool things that happen after the classroom. And it's always fun to see those things and be involved and play a role in that. Great teaching also doesn't happen without great administrators. I am fortunate as a teacher. I see other scenarios and situations, and I know that I am blessed to teach where I do. And I've had some administrators who get it. They understand that I'm not a teacher. I'm an architect who teaches. And they have given me the latitude and the ability to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And they just put me back in the room at the end of the corridor and let me go. And so thank you to Jeff Wagley and Adrian Marino, who have supported me and encouraged me and allowed me to be the best teacher I can possibly be. So thank you, everyone. And I hope that one day my name will come up in a conversation with one of your future employees, and that you're pleased with the results that you see. Thanks a bunch.
Congratulations, Chris. I'm sure that will happen. I'm glad that you stopped. I was getting emotional. Thank you, congratulations, and thank you for everything you do. Okay, a little segue here, a commercial break before we introduce the next award. Zaida, Katie, I want to give you the heads up. I just got a little sign here that my computer is updating software, something like that. So if I go silent, take it over, please.
Okay.
Okay, and I am afraid to touch something, so
Sounds good.
I just will leave it alone. Okay. Now we have one of my predecessors, a past president of AIA Dallas, Marcel Quimby, FAIA of Quimby Preservation Studio, to announce our Historic Architecture Award. Take it, Marcel.
Thanks, Al. I'm honored to present the chapter's Historic Architecture Award for Little Chapel in the Woods at Texas Woman's University in Denton. This award recognizes those buildings and structures that have had a significant impact and influence on architecture, cultural, and related aspects of Texas's built environment, and were built over 75 years ago. This award is a collaboration between the chapter's Historic Resources Committee and the 25-year award committee. The chapel is a remarkable building planned by the university and funded by a variety of sources, donations by supporters, students, faculty, and alumni. A competition for the design was held in 1938 with O'Neill Ford and Art Swank, a newly formed partnership in Dallas, selected as the architect. Preston Guerin of Fort Worth was the associate architect. The chapel was the first major commission of Ford and Swank's new firm and is considered among their best work. Located in a grove of trees on the campus, the simple form of the masonry buildings fit in perfectly with its surroundings. The unique structure of the parabolic load-bearing brick arches leads towards the altar, complemented with large stained glass windows on each side, handcrafted light fixtures, a remarkable circular staircase to the balcony, and a multitude of other crafted elements conceived by Ford and Swank. The building was constructed by the National Youth Administration trainees and a cadre of university students who collaborated with the architects on the art and construction of the chapel. 2 graduate students designed and made the stained glass windows as their thesis project. At the end of construction, hundreds of students had contributed to its construction, artwork, and other efforts. The chapel was dedicated on November 1st, 1939, with Eleanor Roosevelt giving the main address. Considered among the top architectural masterpieces in Texas, the Little Chapel of the Woods is known for its embodiment of Texas regionalism and exemplifies O'Neill Ford's lifelong dedication to craftsmanship. As the owner of this architectural gem, the university is to be commended for their stewardship over the last 50 years. It is my privilege to introduce Chancellor Corrine Featon, Chancellor of Texas Woman's University.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marcel. And on behalf of the faculty and staff, our 16,000 students and 100,000 living alumni, I am honored to receive this award for Texas Woman's University. The Little Chapel in the Woods is remarkable, not only for its visual form and aesthetic, but because it includes, as you heard before, community contributions in the artistry of the stained glass windows, the carvings in the rafters and pews, and other finishing touches that Marcel described so well. And this community approach is similar to what architect Michael Murphy describes as ubudehe, or this is a Rwanda concept of community working for the community, and that he used in designing the recently opened National Memorial of Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama. And I like to think that the construction of our O'Neill Ford's Chapel was an early Texas example of ubudehe. It's a concept that I would like to see used more often, as I believe that while we build together with multiple perspectives, we also build greater unity and strengthen our sense of community. So thank you again for this honor. Very much appreciated on behalf of Texas Women's University. Thank you.
Congratulations to Texas Women's University. It's really a jewel, that Little Chapel in the Woods. Now, please welcome architect Ron Womack, FAIA, to introduce our Contractor Award. Ron?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Al. I'm really honored to present this award tonight. The Contractor Award is given to recognize excellent qualities of construction work, outstanding professionalism, and the demonstration of superior working relationships between the contractor, the architect, and the community. And I'm glad to say that I know Thad Reeves. I haven't had the pleasure to meet Andrew yet, but I've had the honor of watching Thad grow from our first trips to with the Dallas Architecture Forum study trips, which was a great experience. I've watched Thad get this thing going and win some design awards, and now constructing pretty great projects. So it's a real pleasure. And A Grupo is a design build architecture firm that specializes in sustainable, modern residential and commercial builds throughout the state of Texas. With 2 Dallas offices, and 1 in Dallas and 1 in San Marcos, A Grupo has proven themselves with an array of unique and timeless buildings and continues to seek innovation, sustainability, and craftsmanship with every project. The firm was founded in 2005 by Andrew Nance, AIA, and Thad Reeves, AIA. And from the outset, the office has been positioned as a vehicle for collaboration between themselves and other designers, architects, fabricators, and most importantly, clients. A Grupo engages in a broad range of project types and scales, from intimately detailed interior installations to large-scale master planning and speculative development. The quest for mastery of spatial articulation through light, materiality, and composition is the key to attaining the transcendent experiential quality of the architecture that they want to make. And I'm really glad tonight to introduce Andrew Nance and Thad Reeves. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Ron. This was quite a surprise, I think, for us to get this award. I think we're the first architects on the list who have received this award, and we're extremely proud as architects to, as a design build firm, to accept this award. Also very honored to have Ron present the award. Growing up here in Dallas, be like Ron and Max Levy and Dan Shipley and my mentor Joe McCall at Oglesby Green. It's quite an honor to receive an award from one of them. It's also I think the idea of craft and kind of where we came from out of the UTA school, which Brad won that wonderful award earlier tonight. Sort of the history of craft that comes from there is certainly evident in our work, and that's where Andrew and I met during school. And the pursuit of that through building architecture and actually building things has been paramount. The past recipients of this award are really very impressive, and I'd say we're extremely humbled to be on that list. And we couldn't do this at all without this amazing office team that we have. I think Jack Burnett is on tonight, and Jack has just joined us in the last year. And we haven't had a lot of building to do in the last year, but he's getting his feet wet in that. And thank you for joining us, Jack. And then, of course, Timothy Ballard and John Beck have been with us for many years, and we really could not do these projects without their dedication and their work. So thank you very, very much. This is quite an honor. Andrew, I think, has a couple things he'd like to say as well.
Yeah, so we started this construction endeavor about 8 years ago or so. And I think initially it was kind of a self-defense strategy. We were designing all these wonderful pieces of architecture that the pricing would come back too high, or all the various things that we've all experienced. And I think that kind of this initially very overwhelming kind of task that we took on has really, in many ways, I like to think, has made us better architects in terms of understanding a different kind of relationship with the client, a different kind of relationship with the people that are building these projects that we've designed. And I think that different relationship has allowed us to really kind of maybe embrace the team approach with the client to realizing the vision kind of at a different scale. But thank you again. It is such an honor. I echo all of Thad's comments for us to be included, nominated, and received this award, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Todd, Andrew, and all the A Grupo team. Up next, I would like to introduce my partner in crime this year, our AIA Dallas President-elect, Ben Crawford, AIA Design Principal at HOK, to share the Consultant Award. Ben?
Thank you, Al. It's good to be with so many friends and part of this community this evening. And any of us that have been practicing for any length of time knows that we all need friends and advocates to do what we do. And I'm really excited tonight to be able to present an award to one of those friends of our profession. I'm presenting the Consultant Award, which recognizes a member of an associated profession who contributes significantly to the ability of architects to produce high quality projects. And this year's award is going to Risk Strategies. They're one of the largest A&E brokerages in the US, and they have specialists who are spread among 10 offices throughout the US. They have a staff full of litigants who have protected many of us, both architects and engineers, in litigation, as well as served as in-house counsel to firms around the country, large and small. Their services have been viewed as of such value that over 6,000 member firms have appointed them as their broker of record. And more importantly, they've transformed for many of us what is an expense for necessary insurance to a means to create competitive advantage and to ensure our places in the marketplace. So with that, I'd like to thank Risk Strategies and introduce Cameron Brown, who's going to be accepting this award for Risk Strategies, and also to thank them for their service to DFW Architects and for over 3 decades of service to the AIA Dallas chapter. Cameron?
Yeah, thank you, Ben. And first off, I'd like to say thank you to the AIA for recognizing us as the 2020 consultant. It definitely means a lot. And especially as I look back at the list of past recipients, I'm privileged to be included alongside those individuals and organizations. As Alejandro noted in his opening remarks, the AIA is the voice of architecture for our community, and the partnership we've had with the AIA spans the course of 20 plus years. And I'm excited for the opportunity and what the future holds for us to help amplify that voice going forwards. I am not alone by any means in that effort, so I'd also like to recognize both Hillary Bryant and Lionel Bijan, who are on the call tonight with us. Hillary, as many of y'all may know, is very instrumental in our professional practice. So Hillary, if you could wave or dance or unmute and say hi.
Hi guys, yes, and thank you so much for honoring us tonight. Congratulations to all of the other honorees on the call, and then thank you to AIA and everyone on this call and in the organization for 30 plus years of partnership with McLaughlin Brunson and now Risk Strategies.
And then the next member I'd like to introduce, he is new to our organization, but not to the industry. He has 25 plus years serving architects and engineers. So at this point, I will turn it over to Lionel to say hello.
Thank you, Cameron, and thank you to everybody today on this award show, and congratulations to all the recipients of awards. It's been a pleasure working with architects for not 50 years, like Cameron thought, that we'll go with 25 years. And I look forward to working with all of you for the next few years at Risk Strategies. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations, Risk Strategies, well deserved, and thank you for all the partnership throughout all these years. Up next, I would like to welcome architect Norman Alston, FAIA, to announce our Artisan Award. Norm, are you there?
I'm here, Al.
Take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. You know, artistry and the craftsmanship needed to execute it has always been near and dear to architects, and an integral part of the creation of architecture. But as years go by, as technologies change, and as financial pressures build, we worry about the erosion of artistry and craftsmanship. After all, we're once we lovingly had hand carved stone. Now sometimes we have, foam. Where once wood was shaped and fitted, there is now vacuum formed petroleum byproducts. And we all see a future where digital 3D printing technology plays an ever increasing role. I mean, what is that stuff anyway? I don't know. But contrary to what you might perceive, artistry and craftsmanship are not dead, not at all. In fact, it flourishes around us. It is in celebration of this artistry that I am proud and excited to present the 2020 AIA Dallas Artisan Award to Michael Van Inter of the Van Inter Studio here in Dallas. Michael employs artistry while preserving and conserving some of our most important artistic, architectural, and cultural treasures. Now, you've almost certainly seen some of his work. It's in the Pegasus sign that graced the top of the Magnolia Oil building downtown and became the de facto symbol of Dallas, a symbol that persists to this day. Michael restored the original, which can now be seen outside of the Omni Hotel downtown. Michael was the artist in the conservatory that relocated and preserved 96 mosaics by artist Millard Street, moving them from the historic Mercantile Building to the historic Jewel Hotel. His restoration work of numerous art pieces and architectural elements at the Hall of State in Fair Park is a truly transformational project at one of our nation's most beautiful and important historic sites. I had the privilege of touring his studio during that restoration, and I remember seeing what must have been an acre of building under roof, filled with all kinds of metal and glass, with windows and doors, light fixtures and hardware, artifacts and castings of all kinds. Michael had a very large role in the success of this project, and I want to thank you, Michael, for your work, and we look very much forward to watching your next transformational effort. Congratulations.
Thank you all. I have to say, I just have to thank everybody in Texas for believing in me. There's a saying, you come to Texas on vacation, you leave on probation. It was totally not planned. And one of the things that I have to say is that at the arse end of the last century, I met Rick Floyd at the Dallas or the Fort Worth Museum of Modern Art, and explained I'm a conservator that has come to Texas. A handshake. 20 minutes later, I'm walking away with $55,000 of the sculpture in the trunk of a car, and people just believed in me. And that's one amazing thing about Texas. I never expected it. So everybody says, how do you start a business? Great clients. Find a client. I have found great clients, great partners. I've found great partnerships here in Texas. Great team. I've found incredible people to work with me, from partners that were clients at first, like Phoenix and Architectus and Gensler, and everybody just works so much on an old honored system of a handshake. And that has made everything special to me. Great projects. I can't tell you how the THC, the DMA, the Texas Historic Commission, Dallas Cultural Affairs, I haven't found a single client. Now there's a few that you have a pain in the ass, what do you call it? Extra 20% for. But all in all, everybody takes this minuscule history, which is a bump stop compared to anywhere else, and they say, fix it. And I have a very easy business. It's broken, I fix. So it's just like, but just do it right. And I've been honored with all the people from Phoenix One, partners, everybody. I just cannot believe the energy and wonderful thing of working in Texas and North Texas. you know, I have to say, Houston's kind of a bit wishy-washy and Austin's kind of touch and go, but Dallas and Fort Worth, even though there's a rivalry, is just, they just get it done. Thank you for everybody that supported me. Thank you for making this my de facto.
Well deserved, Michael. Congratulations again. And thank you for your kind words. And we have a beautiful, friendly rivalry with Fort Worth that I think we all enjoy. It's like brothers, right? Like that kind of rivalry. Congratulations again, Michael. Up next, I would like to invite Kelly Mitchell, AIA, with Mitchell Garmin Architects to introduce the first Community Honors Award. I think you're muted, Kelly.
Sorry about that.
That was Sean. I'm sure.
Thanks, Sean. First, I want to say that these Community Honor Awards are given to persons, firms, corporations, or associations for exemplary work in their respective fields. So now I am thrilled to introduce my friend, Amy Walton, who is receiving this award tonight. Amy is an inspiration to me on a daily basis. In 2018, she created Mod Texas, which is an Instagram-based initiative to celebrate mid-century design and architecture throughout the state of Texas. It also highlights and promotes over 20 organizations around the state that engage in documenting and preserving historic architecture. Through this initiative that she calls Mapping Mod, anyone can use the hashtag ModTexas to share photos of modern architecture, signage, art, and design. As of today, the Mod Texas account has close to 12,000 followers. So while the site is extremely popular and a lot of fun, the initiative is meant to create appreciation for mid-century design with the ultimate goal of preservation. Amy has shared her time with ADX by presenting a lunch and learn session about Mod Texas. She has held Instagram training sessions for various preservation organizations to help them expand their presence on social media. Her program has also been written up in numerous publications, such as the Easton Chronicle, D Magazine, and Texas Monthly. Not only that, last year, the Mod Texas Initiative was awarded a Modernism in America Citation of Merit Award from Docomomo, US. So not only is mid-century design the mid-century design is not her only passion, however. In 2017, she created Address Me Dallas, an annual letter writing event, which is produced in partnership with the Dallas Public Library to encourage people to write personal notes and letters. Like I said, she inspires me constantly. Her mind and heart are always active and always looking for ways to create community, lift people up, and make this world a better place. Congratulations, Amy. Yay!
Thank you so much, Kelly. That's so sweet. In the 1990s, Reba Mcintyre did a commercial where she sang, "I know what I like Fritos." And I still laugh at the simplicity of that jingle and how it mirrored my own understanding of the built environment when Mod Texas started. I knew what I liked and not much else. But I've been welcomed into a community of historians, architects, and preservationists who've helped to mentor and connect me. Greg Brown was among the first, along with Kelly and Sean, David, Bob, Nate, Marcia, and William. Thank y'all for your guidance and support. Our project wouldn't exist without folks contributing photos, memories, and research. These Mod Texans deserve the credit for our crowdsourced collection. To James, my partner in life and in architecture hunting, thanks for filling our road trips with laughter and music. If you're not already, I invite you to join us on Instagram. And if you know someone with a drone or someone teaching architecture at a Texas university, please let me know. Those are connections that could really elevate our survey. Finally, I want to ask for your support. Dallas is blessed to have so many groups working in this space: Preservation Dallas, ADEX, the Forum, Dallas Historical Society, Docomomo. If Mod Texas inspires you to make a donation to them, send us a DM and we'll mail you a tiny treat that once belonged to one of tonight's recipients and the only architect ever named a National Historic Landmark. On behalf of our project's participants, I thank AIA Dallas for this special honor.
Congratulations, Amy, and thank you again for that great project that allow us to map all these amazing, amazing pieces of architecture.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you'll find a drone very soon. Okay, with our second community honor announcement is Andrew Burns, AIA, co-founder of Agent Architecture.
Hello, thank you, Al.
Hey, Andrew, take it away.
All right, thank you. So it is my honor to introduce our next winner. So BC Workshop is founded on a social mission. They're bringing design thinking and architectural problem solving to areas of the city, state, and country where the resources are most scarce. So we're in a world where we often idolize these high-end pieces of architecture on Instagram or places like Arc Daily. And BC Workshop is a wonderful embodiment of design ethics focused on the community. So I've had the privilege of co-officing with BC Workshop for the last couple of years, where I get to see them working on, not only creative and great single-family, multifamily projects, but also documenting neighborhood stories, creating neighborhood plans, mapping anything and everything, creating beautifully detailed, graphically pleasing reports that, like the State of Dallas Housing was one of the ones they create. Creating guides for the general public to help them navigate complex bureaucracies. I mean, it's truly outward focus and it's wonderful. So there's just a few of the things that they do, and the depth and breadth of their work really cannot be overstated. So it's inspiring to be around all these talented, intelligent, and passionate people. I just haven't seen so many of them in so long due to the pandemic. It's been sad. So BC's been recognized again and again for their excellent work, both architecturally and on the data report side of things. And so it's just really neat to see all of this talent together in one roof and a special group of people. So we're fortunate that BC is here in our city. And I'm pleased to introduce Benji Featon and Lizzie McWillie.
Thank you, Andrew. I felt maybe a little clarity on who we are after that introduction, because I think sometimes we still struggle to understand who we are and what we do. But yeah, thank you. We just want to, thank AIA for the acknowledgement. I was thinking about it today. We're 15 years old now, which is kind of crazy to think about. So been working here in Dallas for that period of time. Obviously, we've got our office in Houston and down in Brownsville on the border as well. So just, yeah, thank you for the acknowledgement from the profession. Sometimes we really dive into things and we come back up and we're like, oh, that's right, we're architects, and it's kind of, we live in this world that crosses a lot of boundaries and a lot of different thresholds. So I find it kind of challenging to accept this award on behalf of the organization, because we just have to acknowledge the incredible kind of talents and passions of all the young individuals and older individuals, past leadership, that have just come through and invested so much into the organization and into the communities we work with. Just a lot of energy, a lot of inquisition, a lot of critique internally, coming from all these different individuals and from folks on this meeting and in the profession and around. So just really appreciate that. I know Lizzie's going to say a few words about some more kind of local gratitude, but I think we also just need to acknowledge, the support that we've had from the profession over the years, as well as local foundations, the philanthropic community, etc. So cheers.
I just wanted to thank all of our partners, many folks on the call we've had the opportunity to work with over the past couple of years, and also just to thank all of the folks that welcome us into their neighborhood, into their community, and trust us enough to collaborate with their residents, with their community members, and just say how grateful we are to be able to do the work that we do, and thank you for this opportunity.
Well deserved. Congratulations, BC Workshop. 15 years of great job for sure.
Yay!
Yay! Whoop, whoop. Next up, I would like to invite back Michael Malone, FAIA, to introduce our final Community Honor Award. Michael, you around? Going once?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Al. It's a privilege and an honor to once again provide the opportunity to introduce another award this evening. At the northwest corner of Inwood Road and Forest Lane is a magical educational institution, someplace that's very different from any other school I've ever been to in my life. The campus is childlike in its scale, monumental in its conception, excellent in its execution, and has incredible integrity of mission, transformatively produced and understood within the context of an exceptional group of buildings. Lamplighter started out in 1953 as a place that tried to create an educational environment that gave opportunities to young people to grow and experience learning in a way that made them want to continue to learn throughout their lives. Throughout that time, they've been advocates for and patrons of wonderful architecture. The initial campus in 1969 was done by O'Neill Ford, a cluster of village-like buildings centered around a fantastic play space and playground. The buildings are scaled for children to walk through and enjoy, and very, very comfortable for them, with features like fireplaces and pits for reading. Later, buildings were added by our friend, the late, great Frank Welch, who built a gymnasium and a library, both of which were again scaled for children, detailed immaculately, and filled with wonderful details that could really only be appreciated by somebody very small and very enlightened and welcomed to the world around them by beautiful things. Finally, campus's last addition was a barn and a remarkable science building designed by AIA gold medal winner Marlon Blackwell. It was for that building that I had an introduction to the folks at Lamplighter, because I got to shepherd them through the selection process. One other story, the first time I ever visited the campus myself, I got to meet the director, Dr. Joan Hill, and was invited by my friend Catherine Rose to help with this search. I got to meet the search committee chair, Leslie Krakow, and afterwards they took me on a tour of the campus. One of the great moments of my life. I still remember breaking out in goosebumps as I moved from building to building that afternoon, how wonderful it was. I got home that evening and had an existential crisis. And I told my wife that we were really scum and slime, horrible parents, because we had not sent our children to Lamplighter, and they were going to be scarred forever because of that. I'm fortunate that she slapped me around a little bit and told me that was probably the inappropriate way to have gauged that experience, but I still regret that I didn't send my children there. I do have a standing offer for my grandchildren to go there, so we'll make that happen one way or another. Anyway, it's with great pride that I have the opportunity to recognize Dr. Hill and the wonderful group of people that bring those buildings to life in a way that I've never seen at any other educational institution. Congratulations.
Michael, thank you for that amazing, amazing introduction. And I have those same recollections, and it's funny how it all comes together. It is an honor to accept this recognition and award by the AIA Architects Dallas chapter on behalf of the Lamplighter School. And that includes 450 plus students, the faculty, the staff, a whole host of alums, our board of trustees, and everyone associated with the school. The Lamplighter School has a history of recognizing the importance of architecture and design as a central tenet in the education of our students. And I think Michael Malone gave a great testament to that. We believe that the learning spaces open new opportunities for our students to collaborate, to create, to construct, and to make meaning. The Easton Family Innovation Lab and the Lamplighter Parent Association Barn were both designed by Marlon Blackwell Architects and represent the very best in creativity and innovation. From the ideation process all the way through construction, the chair of the board during that process and during the project was Mrs. Catherine Rose, along with all members of the board. They were instrumental in bringing the project to fruition. As a result of the new buildings, teaching and learning has been enhanced immeasurably. Our students are the beneficiaries of incredible design. These new buildings continue to extend teaching and learning in magical ways for our students. Again, thank you so much, Michael Malone, and to AIA Dallas chapter for recognizing the Lamplighter School. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Hill and the Lamplighter School. What a beautiful, beautiful building. Next, I would like to invite one of my predecessors, past president of AIA Dallas, Richard Miller, FAIA, partner at Hoffer Wysocki, to present the first honorary membership recipient.
Great, thank you, Al. AIA Dallas honorary membership is the highest honor the chapter can bestow upon esteemed individuals for their valuable service and accomplishments who are not eligible for membership in the Institute or the chapter. Tonight, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our AIA Dallas 2020 honorary membership recipient, Kate Holliday, PhD. When I think about all the contributions that Kate has made to the profession and will continue to make, it is evident that she is truly an outstanding ambassador that we can all admire. Kate is the founding director of the David Dillon Center for Texas Architecture and professor of architecture at the University of Texas at Arlington. She is an award-winning architectural historian, researcher, and teacher, as well as an author focused on the built environment. Kate's considerable body of published work amplifies her advocacy. She has published many articles and essays focused on issues of American modernism, equity, and public space. Besides the open-ended city, David Dillon on Texas architecture, she has also written 2 prior books, Leopold Edlitz's Architecture and Idealism in the Gilded Age, and Ralph Walker, Architect of the Century. Kate has consistently demonstrated a deep commitment to the promotion of architecture to a broad audience. She established the annual Dillon Symposium, which brings together scholars and experts from across disciplines to discuss architecture issues of regional and national importance. Her acclaimed interviews of prominent Texas architects are cataloged in the Dillon Center, Oral History of Texas Architecture, that serves as a repository for the memory of the design profession in the region. We are so fortunate to have Kate as a member of the AIA Dallas Advisory Board for Columns Magazine since 2009, and her frequent contributions to our award-winning publication. Kate's notable accomplishments and her ongoing service and commitment to AIA Dallas and North Texas architecture bridges many platforms and elevates the conversation about architecture and the profession for which we are already indebted. So please join me tonight in celebrating our AIA Dallas 2020 honorary membership recipient, Kate Holliday, honorary AIA Dallas. Yay.
Kate, are you muted?
Is it on now?
Yes.
I think my microphone gave up. Thank you. I've been talking to myself. Richard, thank you so much for that introduction. I was saying that I'm sure my face is totally red, but my backdrop is red, so it all works out well. That was incredibly kind. And I really appreciate how seriously you all have taken my own commitments to working with architecture. Again, I'm a historian and I'm a writer. And I think sometimes as I'm teaching students, and I was scrolling through and seeing a few students in the crowd here, or if I'm in a columns editorial board meeting, I'm always bringing that historians and writers perspective to the conversation. And I just rolled off the columns board after 10 years. And so maybe I'm hoping someone else will kind of fill in with some of the kinds of things I usually contribute to those meetings about writing. It's been an incredible honor to be on that columns board. And I really appreciate the recognition from AIA Dallas. And I can now write back to AIA Fort Worth and say that we're balanced. We're returning to that civic rivalry. I've got my honorary membership in both chapters, and the world has returned to a kind of balance now. So thank you very much. And I look forward to more collaboration in the future.
Absolutely, Kate. Thank you for bringing back to equilibrium our chapters. Congratulations again. You got the double whammy tonight. To announce our next honorary member is Public Policy Committee member Darwin Broughton, AIA, with KAI Design Build. Darwin.
Thank you, Al. It's my pleasure to recognize fellow advocate Katie O'Brien. Katie has provided public policy and community relations consulting in the Dallas area for half a decade. The work of Katie, her associates, and partners has and continues to impact the region and state for the good. Prior to that, Katie worked in the Texas Senate for more than 6 years, serving as a senior policy analyst for the Senator Kurt Watson from Austin. She has been a partner and advocate for AIA Dallas, helping navigate the legislative processes at the local and state level. Her firm, Trinity Public Affairs, is focused on supporting clients, initiatives, and policies that make our community a better place. Katie is a graduate of Boston College and the LBJ School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas at Austin. Katie is also a key team member in the Southern Gateway Deck Park. I really appreciate the fresh and new approach Katie brings to advocacy, and it is my pleasure to present honorary membership to Katie O'Brien. Congratulations, Katie.
Well, thank you, Derwin, so much. And thank you to all of AIA Dallas. You are definitely my favorite client. I feel so honored to work with each of you. And I'm truly inspired by your mission and vision of designing a more beautiful and a more equitable urban landscape. So it's been my privilege to navigate City Hall with the Public Policy Committee, with the board and your members, as we have influenced citywide landscape ordinance, CCAP, as we heard tonight, all things development services, the bond programs, and essential city policies like the comprehensive housing plan and the forthcoming strategic mobility plan. It's just really a tremendous honor to partner with AIA, its members, and the broader organizational vision. So thank you, thank you. I look forward to working with, hopefully, I hope I get to continue to work with AIA Dallas for many years to come. Thank you.
Congratulations, Katie. We're blessed to have you as a partner in crime. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you do for us. Join us to introduce the firm award is the host of Crossroads, Michael Frible, Associate AIA with Callison Article. Mike, take it away.
As always, thank you, Al. Great program tonight. Wow, how do I sum up, the greatest inspirations of my career thus far in Dallas? I look at every moment that I've had here in the city, and Kelly and Sean are a part of it. And it's an honor to introduce them tonight with the Firm Award. But also, I feel like I'm doing it on behalf of hundreds of people that are behind me right now. that are echoing the same thing. It's an honor to be able to introduce this award on behalf of them. You know, since 1985, Mitchell Garmin is only the 5th firm to receive the firm award for being a group that's under 5 people. Under 5 people. They're 2. And you think about their background. You look through the program tonight, and 2 people accomplished that, you know, leading that effort. And they've done it in such a genuine manner. You know, you look at their spaces, and they evoke exactly what Sean and Kelly are about: a genuine approach to architecture, being a citizen architect, believing that art, culture matters, but that their clients matter too, and the community that shapes it matters as well. But even beyond that, what they've given to the chapter, you can't look at AIA Dallas, ADEX, or the Texas Society of Architects in a way that they aren't a part of. You know, they've served on the board for both chapters. They've served on design awards, home tour, Architecture Matters, amongst others. Their reach, I feel, is incredible because of their incredible dedication to people. Everyone seems like a friend to them. And what we get in return are spaces that are inspiring, not so much in a big flashy architecture, as my good friend Andrew Barnes said tonight, but an architecture that is genuinely bringing people together. And, you know, it's funny, you know, we sit here tonight virtually because I think we would all be either at Carbone's tonight, we'd be either at Piatello or the Omni Hotel. We would all be sharing a moment together and a toast together because that's really, I think, what they would want. But it's an honor to be able to share this with them tonight, even virtually, because they mean so much to all of us. And Sean and Kelly, you mean a lot to this chapter. You mean a lot to everybody on this call. You mean a lot to me. And it's a great honor to be able to introduce this award to you. Congrats on receiving the firm award.
Wow. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Michael. That was
awesome. Thank you.
So incredibly sweet. I'm going to try to hold myself together through this. We are so honored and touched to have this such a distinguished award bestowed upon us. As a small firm, it's very hard to imagine that we would ever even be considered. So we are indeed excited to have our name added to such a rich history of the AIA Dallas Firm Award recipients.
We are grateful for the platform that AIA Dallas has provided us over the years as an avenue to showcase our work, an opportunity to participate in civic engagement, a vehicle, literally, to connect with our state legislators, a place to socialize with our peers, that we all can speak the same language.
The benefits of involvement in any organization have a direct correlation to the efforts put forth. More than simple membership, our investment into this community has reaped a multitude of benefits: camaraderie, mentorship, a sense of purpose, and most importantly, lifelong friends.
It's so fun for us to share tonight's spotlight with so many friends and familiar faces. Like, I think we know like 90% of everyone tonight. So that's fantastic. So let's be sure to have a big party when we can all see each other again, because as Michael said, we would love that more than anything else.
So we'd also like to take a moment to say hello to our families and friends joining from Oklahoma, Rhode Island, and all across Texas. Hi, you guys.
Yay!
Thank you for joining.
Thank you sincerely to the Community Honors Committee, AIA leadership, and especially in particular, Mike Malone, who is our champion for this award, as far as we understand. Honestly, thank you does not truly express the gratitude that we feel. We're just really honored and excited. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yay!
Cheers.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations, John and Kelly, my brother from another mother.
You got that right, Hal.
I'm sure that my wife and I were not alone there when we were very sad last Christmas and we didn't have the chance to go to your house and enjoy great wine and company and being elbow to elbow, sweating our way out of your house. Congratulations. Very, very well deserved. I'm very, very happy for you guys.
Thank you so much. We're very honored. Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome our past Dallas AIA president and 25-year award committee chair, Dennis Stacy, FAIA, to share our 25-year award recipient. Dennis.
Thank you, Al. The 25-year awards program recognizes buildings within the boundaries of AIA Dallas that were completed between 25 to 50 years ago, and as you heard from the TSA program, that have retained their central form, character, and overall architectural integrity. The award was established in 1990, with the Residential Award established in 1996 and the Historic Architecture Award established in 2019. This evening, we're recognizing the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas and its architects for the facility located on North Pearl Street. The architects were Combe Pedersen Fox of New York and Sykes Jennings Kelly and Brewer of Houston, with associate architect John S. Chase, architect of Houston. It was completed in 1992. Upon completion, it became an instant landmark in Dallas due to its proximity to the Dallas Arts District, its prominent visibility, and its concept of stability, dignity, and security as design criteria given by the owner. The building massing expresses these criteria and prevent an extremely large building from becoming monolithic. The forms and palette are simple with aluminum sunscreens, fins, gridded curtain walls, and limestone that all recall the facilities of the neighboring arts district. A courtyard is placed over the vault area and other green aspects are incorporated into the facility. In addition to offices, the facility contains a large cafeteria with spectacular views from a terrace overlooking the Arts District in downtown Dallas. There's also a health club and daycare center. The office tower is at the west end of the composition, and the remaining forms taper off to the eastern end where it abuts an historic neighborhood. Accepting the award will be Carolyn Brewer, wife of Ben Brewer Jr., FAIA, former AIA National and TXA president and principal at Sykes Jennings Kelly and Brewer of Houston. Carolyn?
It is my pleasure to accept this award on behalf of my late husband. This was such a special project for the three firms involved, Combe Pedersen Fox, SJKB, and John Chase Associates. Special thanks to Daryl Fitzgerald of John Chase also. Thank you very much. This is a very special award for a very special building.
Congratulations, Caroline. This building is one of those that when I moved to Dallas around 13 years ago, I was walking around and I saw that building and I was like, oh my goodness. And I thought it was actually sort of brand new. I never thought that it was an older building. Is one of those that withstand the pass of time gracefully. It's a beautiful building. Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we welcome another past AIA Dallas president and 25-year award committee member, Larry Good, FAIA, founding principal of GFF, to introduce our residential 25-year award winner. Larry.
Thank you very much, Al. This year's selection for the Residential 25-Year Award is a home commissioned in 1987 by a remarkable couple, civic leaders, art collectors, philanthropists, and bird watchers, Dee Dee and Rusty Rose. It was designed by Albuquerque architect Antoine Predock, AIA Gold Medal laureate, and completed in 1993 on one of the most beautiful sites in the heart of our city. I quote Mr. Predock, "Literally at the end of a cul-de-sac, the site opened to the creek with the plane of water substantially below the level of the street. The trees on the site engendered a real sense of enclosure and containment, a sense of mystery. One could gaze toward the other side of the creek through the filtered light of the forest canopy. Below the canopy, the ground plane plunged down to the level of the water with white limestone outcrops that defined the edge of the creek. It was a sylvan, almost magical landscape," end quote. Predock's instinct was to conceal the site with the house and not let the sense of magic and power of Turtle Creek be released toward the street. He called the 5 massive limestone ledges of the entry facade a dam of expectations. This almost windowless stone and concrete facade effectively protects the western side of the house from the hot sun. But passing through a fissure in the limestone ledges, the house becomes more fragmented of form and highly transparent, revealing its intimate relationship to the verdant realm of Turtle Creek. The house's most memorable feature, the sky ramp for birdwatching, extends the entry axis 100 feet out and 40 feet high above the ground into the treetops above the creek. Dee Dee Rose shares this remarkable house generously with the public. It has been the venue for many auspicious gatherings. The ideas which gave shape to the City Design Studio and the Trinity Park Conservancy were born here. It is that kind of inspiring place with an equally inspiring owner who I happen to know truly loves living there. It's my pleasure to, I saved some of my champagne, not much, but to lift a glass in honor of this award and to turn the microphone over to Dee Dee to say a few words.
Larry, thank you. I didn't know you were going to introduce this, but it makes it even more special that you did.
Thank you.
If walls could talk, these walls would be singing right now. And if any structure deserves an award for every day of its existence, bringing pleasure and joy and delight to its inhabitants and to visitors, so many visitors, then this house deserves it in spades, because that's really what it's done. And of course, any great project has a great team. Here, Antoine Predock and his team of architects, Emily Summers and her team of designers, Thomas S. Byrne, and the wonderful tradespeople and craftsmen who worked on this house, the Rosa Finsley, landscape architect, Michael Van Valkenburg. There are so many people who worked on this, not as a job, but as something that I think they believed they were really doing something special, which they did. So on behalf of this house and this home, I thank AIA Dallas. And I also want to thank all of you on this call. I am not an architect and I'm not a professional, anything, but you are, you architects, you builders, you city planners, you critics, you craftsmen, all of you make the built environment better and actually wonderful. And in doing so, you make this world better. And I so appreciate and value the work that you do. Thank you.
No, thank you, Dee Dee, and congratulations.
Thank you.
To the Rose residents. Well, I'm gonna try this again. Folks, what a wonderful group of individuals and organizations. Please unmute yourself and let's applaud all these great awardees.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me there. Folks, and now we are moving to a very important part of the night. I would like to invite Kate Holliday, Honorary AIA Dallas, to introduce our Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you. I've certainly been honored and humbled by my own awards this evening, but this is actually the greatest honor that I have to introduce and present the AIA Dallas Lifetime Achievement Awards. And I think here on the screen, we're seeing video of the recipients actually getting their awards. This award recognizes individuals for a lifetime of leadership and accomplishment within the profession of architecture, and it exemplifies the enduring value of an architect, both to our profession and to the community. Jane and Dwayne Landry have pursued their careers as architects, as partners in the profession, and as partners in life. They first met as architecture students at the University of Texas at Austin, where Jane was only one of a handful of women to pursue study in the field. They soon moved to the architecture program at the University of Pennsylvania, where they both graduated with a Bachelor of Architecture degree. Next, they came back home to Texas to practice in Corpus Christi, and then moved to San Antonio, where they both worked for the larger-than-life Texas legends O'Neill Ford. From their early practice with Ford, the Landrys developed their own lifelong commitment to craft and to the creative interconnections between artists, artisans, and architecture that has led to projects of power and intimate beauty. In 1966, they began their own practice, Landry and Landry, and by 1968, they moved to Dallas to supervise Ford's projects at the new campus of the University of Dallas. That began a decades-long collaboration with the university. Together, Jane and Dwayne developed a practice that focused on liturgical projects, working with many different congregations of different faiths to create spaces that embody the numinous, the intangible quality of transcendent spirit. The Church of the Incarnation at the University of Dallas won the AIA Dallas 25-Year Award in 2015. Its stepped octagonal lantern, inscribed within its circular footprint, uses light to diffuse the modest chapel with a calming and uplifting spirit that welcomes students, parishioners, and secular visitors in search of spaces that connects us to something greater than ourselves. It is truly a gem, one of the many gifts that the Landrys have given us. One of the highlights of my career here in Texas was spending the day with them in this chapel, seeing its details through their eyes and hearing stories of the young men and women who have found solace in prayer and joy in their weddings here. I've been honored to spend time with them both through the Dillon Center's Oral History Project and to see their work through their stories and their incredibly generous creativity. Jane Landry is also the first woman ever elected to the College of Fellows from the Dallas chapter of the AIA. And to make that story even more compelling, she and Dwayne also have the particular distinction of being the first married couple to apply for fellowship to the AIA jointly with one single application for both of them, submitted in 1988. It is therefore singularly appropriate that they are recipients together of this year's Lifetime Achievement Awards. Congratulations, Jane and Dwayne. Jane and Dwayne, I would just wish we were there together. I'm so happy for you.
Oh my goodness, Kay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You know, Zyda came and blessed us with these ribbons, and Katie paved the virtual path, and we're just overwhelmed. Really, really overwhelmed. Thank you. But we were going to tell you a few things about this partnership. Are we on live now? I think
we are.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
you are. We're listening.
Well, we had some little vignettes to share just in case there are a few things that we didn't want our kids to know, so we'll tell you. But I have to tell you that the very first interest, as Kate said, that I had, or the thought that I had that a woman could be an architect, was stirred by a talk that O'Neill Ford gave at the University of Texas School of Architecture in 1952, when I was an art major. And I was so thrilled with the things that he talked about that the very next day, I marched over to the architecture school and asked Harville Hamilton Harris if he would let me transfer to architecture at January. So that's how I got started. Dwayne made a change about the
same time. I made a change same time, but I made my change because I realized after looking at those architecture students who were working down the hall, that I was much more interested in what he was doing than in cutting up a field pig that I was doing in pre-med program. So I walked over and changed to the architecture program. At that time, the UT architecture program was going through a big change. Harville Hamilton had been hired, and he had hired Bernard Hosley and John Haydock and Colin Rowe in the history department. And those people had a big effect on our lives. They taught us and probably every student that went through that program in the second, third year that good architecture comes out of a hard study of the program. It's not arbitrary. It's not stylistic. It's a careful analysis of what's needed, what's wanted by the program, by the site, by the materials that are available, by the cost.
And we had a little upheaval ourselves. I had gone to Philadelphia. I had a job in the design department of the National Park Service. In fact, I designed the first comfort station for one of the parkways that summer. So at any rate, I was up there and I got a letter from one of the instructors at the University of Texas. And he said, I shouldn't come back. And I didn't know what that meant. And then he said, well, there's been this change, this upheaval. And so many of the teachers that we valued would not be coming back. Contracts weren't renewed. Harville Hamilton Harris was moving on. So what do I do? And since some of them were tied to Yale, they said, well, you can go to Yale. And I said, well, how do I do that? And so they shipped to me some of my work and some letters of reference. And I got in my 49 Plymouth and I drove to New Haven and I asked for admission to the Yale architecture program. And they took me. So I went back and finished the summer, went back home to get my things to move to New Haven, and I got a phone call.
Yes, I had learned out about this change in the UT program much later in the summer. And one of the things I learned was that Jane had been admitted to Yale, and Hosley suggested that I call Jane. I hardly knew her. I reached her by telephone thanks to a kindly telephone operator. And she told me a lot about what had happened and what she had done. And I suggested that maybe I should write a letter to Yale and see if they would take me. And she said, oh, you can't do that this late. If you want to enter, you have to go up there. So that was a piece of good advice, first of many good pieces of advice. And I did that. About 2 weeks later, I climbed on a railroad car in Austin and sat beside Jane on a chair car for 3 days and 2 nights on the way to Philadelphia. We got pretty well acquainted that time. And went in to see Schweikert, the dean at Yale, and he didn't tell me anything about whether he'd accept me or not. But when we came out, we turned to Jane. He said, "I'll take this one, but don't bring me any more." I didn't give her a chance to bring him anymore because 3 weeks later, I asked her to marry me, and she said, "What took you so long?" So I presume that was an acceptance, right?
Well, I didn't say it at that time quite that way. But anyway, the partnership
You can see it's still in existence.
Started off on a grand note in 3 weeks in a beautiful New Haven with leaves that were turning all kinds of colors, and wonderful classes with Joseph Albers, and taught us about drawing and color. But we wanted to be architects, and the more we learned about the School of Architecture, we thought, we think maybe this is not where we should be, not the right place for us. And so what do? Well, so I guess we have to go visit somebody else and we went down to Penn because I had worked in Philadelphia, and we talked to the dean there and told him that we'd like to come to transfer to his school in January. And he was a little perplexed. Why would we want to do that? And about that time, Lou Kahn came in the office. And so Holmes Perkins said, "Lou, take these young people down and talk to them. Tell them what we're doing here." And he took us down to the basement, and we sat on old bus seats by the Coke machine for 2 hours. And he told us what he was doing there. And we thought, this is really where we want to be. And
he was a very persuasive, charismatic man.
Very persuasive. So that's how we got to Penn. And 2 years later, we did graduate, and we did pack up everything we owned on the old 49 Plymouth on top and inside, and we returned to Texas.
To a state with no architectural jobs at all. I had a job. I had a 6-month service in the military, and Jane did get a little job, but when I got out, she was out of work, and there were no jobs in San Antonio or Austin. And we looked and looked and looked. We didn't look at Neil's office for some reason, but we did find work in Corpus Christi. Went down there for 2 years, and then when that work played out, we were out of a job again. So this time we decided, well, let's go see if we can talk to Neil, and not falling ahead or anything.
But it was Saturday. We always did these things on Saturday.
We left early Saturday morning and drove to San Antonio from Corpus Christi, and I sat on the front steps of his office on King William Street, and she sat in the car expecting a child momentarily almost. And Neil finally came, and we talked to him, and he gave us both jobs. I 12 hours a day, and Jane whenever she could get to work, and at home. He rented us a house directly across the street, the top story of an old mansion built in 1885, and was directly across the street from his office. And that made our work easy, and I could come home easy. She needed me after Rachel, our first daughter, was born. Jane?
Well, Dwayne was doing all kinds of things in the office, 12 hours a day at least, working on universities like University of Dallas and Phillips University and Skidmore College and so on. But Neil found little things for me to do that I could bring home, like home office that we're all experiencing. And sometimes I went across the street and actually was able to work in the office, like on a house for Cecil Green. That was very exciting. But Neil had a church underway about then. And really, the thing that I was most interested in always was the design of churches. My thesis at Penn had been a church. So Dwayne was working on the drawings for the church, and Neil was very interested in craft, as you could see from the pictures of the little chapel in the woods. That's the way he liked to finish his buildings, with beautiful handmade things. So he said to me that I was to make the plaques for the wall of the church. And there were 9 of them, and they were 2 feet in diameter, and they were thick terracotta, and he picked the subjects. And I'd never touched clay before in my life.
You got to design them. He just picked a
Well,
subject.
he picked a subject. I got to design them, but anyway. So then Dwayne got to hang them up there in the air.
Yes.
And it was really quite a wonderful space. And his brother Neil made the altar and carved the candlesticks, and Martha Mood made the light fixtures. Just gave such beauty and life and love and care to that little brick church. It's gone now, and I think those plaques are maybe with some parishioners somewhere, but at any rate, that was the beginning of our love of the contribution of artists and craftsmen to our work.
We worked for Neil for 5 years.
Yes.
And at the end of that time, we decided we needed to go out on our own, and it was time. We had a job that we thought would carry us through. And with Neil's blessing, we left the office and rented a little 300 square foot office space, 2 rooms, on the 21st floor of a tall building in San Antonio. It had a falcon that had nested on the windowsill outside. And when we occupied the office, the falcon flew away. And our job flew away too. And so we had no job, a new office, 3 children by that time, a house we had built in San Antonio and we're having to pay for. And we were sitting in the office looking at each other, worried.
And then a typewriter salesman came to the door, and he was selling IBM electric typewriters,
which we couldn't afford.
Well, but he looked at my mother's 20-year-old Royal Portable, which was our office typewriter, and he thought we were a sure sale. And we had to say, no, we couldn't afford it. And so then he looked around a little bit and he said, well, you know, my church is getting ready to build. Would you like to have an interview? And we said yes. And Dwayne went out and had an interview. Tell him what happened.
Well, I went out with an old slide projector and a bunch of slides, the work that I'd worked on in Neil's office. And with the first slide, the lens in the projector broke. So I didn't have any pictures to show, but for some reason, God only knows why, they hired us. And we had a job that would see us through our opening. And shortly after that, the work at the University of Dallas started up again. And Neil, God bless him, asked us if we'd like to form some sort of a joint
association.
It was an associate. We were associate architects. And that became busier and busier. We had more and more work in Dallas. And finally, it became obvious that we had to move to Dallas because I was gone 3 days a week and she was keeping the office plus by then 4 daughters, I guess. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else, Dave?
Well, now you've
these people have to go home.
Yes, everybody wants to go home, I think. But we did get more work in Dallas. Finally, we were back to churches. That was such a blessing to us because that was really what we wanted to do. O'Neill Ford passed away in 1982, just before the
Chapel at the University of
chapel at
Dallas
the University of Dallas and the science building
started.
started. And so we carried on with those projects under a new sort of way of doing things because Vatican II had told us that churches would take on a new shape. They would express gathering around the altar. And so most of what you've seen tonight are churches that gather.
Ben, you want to talk anything about the mausoleum?
Well, we'd like to remind you, because it meant so much to us, that the Chapel of the Incarnation received the 25-year award about 5 years ago. And I wanted to mention that the thing that I was always most proud of was that there wasn't a single thing ordered out of a catalog that had anything to do with the liturgy. Talented members of the art department and craftsmen and sculptors and so on made everything that was there, everything that was in that building. And we had another opportunity. It came not too many years later to do an entirely different kind of building, but where craft was also so very important. And I think you saw one picture of the chapel of the mausoleum for Emmanuel Cemetery. Why don't you? You can talk. Tell
Oh,
me.
you're getting,
Yes,
getting hoarse.
I'm getting hoarse.
Well, I'll say a little bit and then we need to end it. The mausoleum was a very interesting job because it was such an unusual job for the dead rather than the living. And then, of course, the living were the people that would actually used to be cognizant when it was used. It was all poured concrete by a crypt builder. And quite often the crypt builder's work was covered up with stone. We really couldn't afford that. So we had them use really good form boards, thin ply, and make deep joints. And we had some things like these little tiles made that would be laid in the joints. And
all different lengths.
Yeah, and it's a project that almost nobody ever sees because the cemetery which is one downtown, is usually closed. So, but it's a project we're very proud of. Before we close, I want to say a few things. We had some people besides O'Neill and Hosley that were wonderfully helpful to us. Dr. Donald Cowan, president of the University of Dallas. Father Don Fisher, pastor there, who has been pastor of a couple of churches we've renovated. And Erwin Grossman, who we've done did two houses for, and was the chairman of the board at the Temple Manual Seminary group,
yes,
who drove the mausoleum. We've had a lot of odd things happen to us, quirky things, but we've had some wonderful help from a lot of people, including contractors and consultants that we can't ever thank enough.
And, you know, we thank all of you. Someone wrote us a note that I wanted to pass on to you. They said, remembering good experiences, it's like living them twice. So thank you for letting us do that tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jane and Dwayne. What an amazing story. We are honored to count you among our membership, and you are truly an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for everything you just shared with us. And once again, I would like for everybody to unmute, and if you say champagne, please help me to raise the glass to the best of the best. Salud.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, Amy Walton.
Yeah, for Kelly and Sean.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad. Love you, Mom and Dad. We're here.
Kelly and Sean rocking. Yeah.
Grandkids.
Hi, Richard.
Congratulations.
Grandkids are also here. I saw that. Great celebration. Folks, we made it.
Yay. Nice job.
In closing, I would like to invite you to continue this celebration of architecture throughout 2021. Join me in making this year a constant celebration of what we do, our way of life, our profession, our passion. I'm sure that all of you know that 2020 was a year of great challenges and opportunities. But we are looking at 2021 with great optimism. And you know why, folks? Just like my older brother, General Adolfo Hernandez, always says, a leader shall not be inferior to the challenge. Colleagues, that's who we are. We are the leaders of the built environment. And together with our great problem solvers heads and with our great design sensitivity, we will rise to the challenge and will prevail. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for everybody that make this possible. I'm looking forward to see you hopefully soon at the attics. Congratulations to all our awardees, honorees. Welcome to the team. To all of those that were not before have any AIA behind your name, congratulations. Now you are a better breed. Your signature will look awesome. Thank you. I would like to ask for those that's still here, presenters and awardees to stay for a group picture. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Al.
Cheers.
Night. Cheers.
My brother for another mother.
Congratulations, Kelly and Sean.
All right.
Congratulations, Kelly and Sean.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Everyone.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yay.
So is someone doing screenshots, I'm guessing?
Yes.
I have no idea how this is working.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, so all of our guest presenters and honorees are going to take a screenshot in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Al.
Congratulations.
It's an honor to join y'all.
Cheers, everybody. Congratulations.
Cheers from Corpus Christi.
Everybody.
Everybody,
Bye-bye.
cheers.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Al. It was epic.